Creative Living, utilizing today's technology with the best of the past to bring you innovative ideas and up-to-date information for creative lifestyles in today's active world. With your host, Sheryl Borden.
Welcome to Creative Living. Today, we're going to learn how to use PVC pipe for making a dollhouse. We'll demonstrate how to turn machine embroidery into a profitable business, and we'll demonstrate making breads with figs. One of my guests is Jana Buse, and she knows that PVC pipe is not just for plumbing. Jana's going to show how to construct doll furniture using this lightweight but sturdy plastic. She'll also show a product called Magic Foam, which can become instant upholstery. Her business is Doll Stuff by Jana, and she's from Ogden, Utah. Another guest is the founder and executive director of Charity Wings, and her name is Elena Echeverry. She's going to talk about how to turn machine embroidery into a profitable home business. This is actually one that she works with through her nonprofit organization in San Marcos, California. And we'll begin the show by talking to Chef John Sukor, who is a culinary consultant to the California Fig Advisory Board. He knows that when figs are added to baked goods, the finished recipe has a higher moisture content, which contributes to a longer shelf life. John's business is Core Food Innovation, and he's from Ashland, Virginia. John, thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely.
I'm anxious to learn what a real chef likes to do with figs.
Sure.
Before I had someone on the show representing figs, I really have to tell you I'd never eaten one.
Really?
Fig Newton candy, or the little Fig Newton cookies.
Sure.
Eaten those all my life and actually liked them.
Sure.
But so why are you interested in helping us learn more things to do with figs?
Yeah, no, that's a brilliant question. First of all, I think it's really interesting. You mentioned the Fig Newton. That's been around since the 1800s.
Mm-hmm. I haven't been around quite that long.
I'm sure. But it certainly is a way that I think when you can help someone associate they've had a fig in something so popular and so well known, I think it's a good bridge to get them thinking about, wow, all the great flavors that are in figs. And I think why chefs are interested, because it is complex. It's a sweetener. It adds color. It adds nutrition to something. There's a slight acidity to it. So these are all flavors that we look for when we're building layers of flavors, whether it's a savory dish, something sweet, or something as a snack. And I think today we're going to talk a little bit about snacking.
And I think if people will go to the California Fig Association's website, I thought figs were just for sweets.
Sure.
Thus the Fig Newton. But there are lots of the savory recipes. There's lots of recipes to use with meats. They really are very versatile. And there's lots of different varieties of figs.
Really versatile. Yeah, the dark ones we have here are our mission figs, both fresh and dried. All sun-dried, by the way.
Sun-dried, okay.
And then we have our Sierra figs, both fresh and dried.
Now these look pretty much the same. These you would never know were the same variety.
You wouldn't. That beautiful green turns into that golden color. Yeah.
Yeah, can you use them interchangeably in most recipes?
Relatively interchangeably. You do have some slight textural differences between the dark and the light color. The light color has a nice meaty texture, a little firmer texture. And I find that the dark one is a little smoother. Almost the same bite all the way through the fig versus the light one has a little bit of a chewier skin on the outside.
Oh, I see. Well, we just have to try them ourselves
That's right.
and see.
Absolutely.
And they're great for snacks, and they're great to put in kids' lunch boxes or packing lunches for people to take with them.
They sure are. And you mentioned the California Fig Advisory Board's website. So absolutely California, beautiful state equals beautiful fruit. And they represent 100% of the nation's dried figs, as I mentioned, all sun-dried.
Oh,
and represent about 98% of the nation's fresh figs as well.
Very important commodity for them.
Absolutely.
We're lucky to have. When are figs seasonal, or can we pretty much find them any time of the year?
Yeah, there's some real uniqueness to that. So in the late spring, you get something called the Breba fig, which is a super large one, and it's kind of coming on the branch extension. So as the tree bulks up and puts out its shooters, a fruit will come from that, and it's a really large, very sweet, but not so fig flavored fruit. And sometimes in old days, farmers would have tilled that into the soil because it wasn't their proudest fig. It wasn't the one that tasted so figgy.
Oh, I see.
I like it. It's a little like a white peach in flavor, but it's a big, beautiful fig.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, and then so then we're just finishing a season now in the fall of these fresh figs, and these are all going to start to make their way towards the drying process, the sun drying process.
And shelf life for figs. Do we keep the fresh ones in the refrigerator?
best kept in a cool, dry place. Refrigerated is good as long as you don't have the refrigerator set to 7, 8, or 9.
Oh,
Don't want them too cold because
Too
they have a
cold.
nice delicate skin on them that could freeze. You want to keep them cool. I like to actually just keep them in a kind of in my pantry, and that's cool enough for them.
Cool
But
and
they
dark.
don't last very long at my house. I have
Well,
two
most
sons
things
that
don't at ours either.
Yep.
And then the dried ones.
Dried, you can, as long as you're
air
keeping them
dry.
cool, dry place, and just in the pantry again, and airtight. I like airtight because they're drying as we sit here.
And they're very moist.
Yes, there's a lot of good moisture to them, but I'd say easily a year or 2 out of them, no problem.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're going to make a power bar for us,
Yes.
and I think about when people say, "Oh, I don't have time to eat breakfast," which I grew up knowing that breakfast was the most important meal.
Very
So
true.
I think that's why power bars became so popular, because everyone has time to grab one and eat it on the way to work.
Certainly. So 2014 really has been the year of the bar. If you look at your retailer, there are entire aisles in the retailer dedicated to bars, and nutrition bars, power bars, energy bars, protein bars, you name
Right.
it. And one thing I like is the homemade version. You can control
You
your
know
flavors.
what's going into
You know
it.
what's going into it. And we're going to make a real quick one here, very simply using lots of great fig ingredients. And first, we took mission figs, the dried ones, gave them a little soak in some warm water for about a couple of hours, and process them here in just any old
just
food
puree
processor.
or
Made
just-
a nice sticky paste out of it. A little less water in there so it's nice and sticky, because bars need glue.
Oh, sure. To
and
hold together.
That's right. And most bars are glued together using lots of refined sugar. So we've eliminated that here. We've cut out probably 75% of the sweetener in this bar.
Oh, because the figs are so naturally sweet.
The figs are doing the job for
Now,
us.
could we substitute the Sierras if we didn't happen
Absolutely.
to have the mission on hand?
Absolutely, yes. There's again a lot of balance of sweetness and flavor there too. A little different flavor profile, a little bit more like a sweet white wine, and a little bit more like a Cabernet or Merlot flavor coming from these.
Deeper
And these
flavors,
also
okay.
have a little hidden chocolate flavor to them too that I find it really delicious.
That sounds good.
So to do this really quickly at home, you're going to select, and we'll have the recipes available to the
Okay.
viewers, but we've got a bunch of beautiful things here. Almonds, chopped up figs, some sliced almonds, as well as coconut. And you can put oats. We like putting a variety of spices in ours as well, which I think you're going to try in a little bit. But once your dry ingredients are in there, all combined, we're going to have a bit of a syrup. Now in this case, we're going to use either something like an agave syrup or a natural honey, things that have a good glycemic index for them, so that we're not adding refined sugar to the diet.
That's good.
This gets poured in here after it hits a certain temperature, and the recipe will show you how to do that. It's really helpful to have a candy thermometer for this, because you're hitting what's called a hardball stage. You want that sugar to seize up and get really hard. So we would just paddle this on low until it started to clump
it
together,
together.
and we knew it was ready. And it literally just comes out. And in a sheet tray, if you're going to do the bars, in a sheet tray you can use a rolling pin is what we do.
That's a good
And
idea.
press it right in there and just leave it alone for a little while. You know, let time do its thing. Let the sugars seize and come together. And it's sort of ready to go. In this case, we've cut it into a bar, just like you said, great for your lunch, great for kids snacking. And we also made little balls out of this as well. In this case, we rolled them in some sesame seeds.
Sesame.
Great for little fingers. It's such a healthy snack for children. Or again, have a few of these in your purse or your briefcase. And what you're going to have is a really healthy snack mid-afternoon when you usually hit that pitfall.
Right.
You're getting good nutrition, and I call it long nutrition. The kind of sugars.
Stays, what is that called?
Satiety, exactly. And
Makes you feel full.
and it'll keep you there for a long time. You won't get that sugar carb drop. These types of complex sugars and complex carbohydrates will keep your energy going for a long time.
Oh, that's good to know.
So from a bar and from a nutrition perspective, these are probably some really obvious applications. I'd like to surprise you with one more that you might not have expected.
Why no?
Well, this is just a nice meat and charcuterie board. I know we
what a
probably would love to have a
beautiful-
glass of wine with this.
Really?
Well, thank you. Really, the ingredients that are inside of a bar like this are the things you would normally put with a board like this, complementing meats and cheeses. You have the dried fruit, you have a little honey.
And I
in this
like the way
case-
you've made even more finger food size of those.
Absolutely. It should be easy to pick up. And I think what's great here too is I'm gluten intolerant myself. So this would usually come with a baguette. Here I can grab a little bit of that bar and use that to snack on the cheese and meats, and you have an adult snack ready for a cocktail party.
And one thing I have learned from visiting and having guests on the show, the gluten-free diet is good for everybody.
Absolutely.
So you never have to feel like you're being deprived, or if you can't eat it, well, your guest will enjoy everything that you have out there.
No, absolutely. And the real hardcore gluten intolerant, really where that diet has come from, it's a dietary necessity, but it certainly is not like taking medicine.
No,
it's still delicious food, whole food, and nutritious food that can come in the form of a gluten-free snack.
Well, it's nice to know that you've not added the extra sugar and that it is something that we can enjoy, and I think kids and adults will both enjoy. I'm ready. We'll try some.
Wonderful.
Thank
Sounds
you,
great.
John.
My pleasure.
Elena, thank you so much for coming. I went online so I could read more about your Charity Wings.
Yes.
And I was just fascinated when I saw pictures of your warehouse. I saw it was just like heaven for anybody who loves to do sewing or scrapbooking or crafts.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you so much. Charity Wings, we are a nonprofit organization. We've been around for 8 years, and a year ago we opened a nonprofit art and craft center. It's 6,000 square feet. So you saw the pictures.
Yes.
It's a huge warehouse filled to the gills with art supplies and crafting supplies. And everything's been donated by wonderful manufacturers and supporters. And we bring in other nonprofits and give them the gift of art. So the idea is that if you are, maybe going through chemotherapy, or you're a wounded warrior, or you're someone with a developmental disability, art really heals you. So when you can sit down at the art center and for an hour a volunteer will guide you into making a card or doing a painting or whatever, you're just smiling the whole time, and you're not really thinking about other things that are going on in your life. So art is a gift, and we give it to anyone who wants to come use the art center.
I wished I lived closer to
I wish
you.
you
I
did
would,
too.
I would
Please
be
come
there
visit.
every day.
I think you would. I have a feeling. Yeah.
And we wanted to talk about machine embroidery specifically. For instance, just the other day I picked up a lot of shirts that we had that were ordered for people whom I work with. But we wanted something else embroidered on them, so we of course had to take them somewhere else.
Right.
But the machines that are available today will do everything for you.
And it's all digitized, so it's really easy. Anything you can dream, you can embroider.
Wow.
So with some of these programs, you can take a photo, you can take your kid's artwork, anything, and you can upload it into the program, digitize it, and then, the magic of computers.
And the machines stop when it's time to change colors.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's been dummied down for us. It really has, and I love that, because for us at the nonprofit, we love to be able to customize things for events or to raise money. We can sell T-shirts, we can do hats and things like that. And because the manufacturers have donated these machines for us to use, we are like self-sufficient with creating a little bit of extra income for the organization.
And a lot of the people who have come there, maybe for therapy, let's just call it therapy, because it is for me when I do crafts and when I sew, but they've gone on and developed their own business.
Exactly. It's so great if you give someone the gift of art and then they take it to the next level. So I would tell you that one of the important things when you're choosing a machine, because you can get into an embroidery machine for as little as $500 or less, but you need to find a good place to buy your machine.
Of course.
And the key to that is that they give you education. You're going to want to grow with your machine and maybe move to the next level. So you want them to be able to educate you and supply you with the supplies you need and give you good service. So our supporter here that's sponsored us is sewingmachinesplus.com, and we are so lucky to have the support to be able to be self-sustaining like that.
And I'm thinking of something else, because it is a big investment, but isn't it wonderful that they can come to your charity?
Yep.
I'm sure you have other sponsors as well.
We do.
You can try out different machines and then see which one you want to invest in.
You can, and because of these great supporters, in fact, if you just wanted to come and make caps for your baseball team or for your grandson's baseball team, you can come and do that at the Art Center.
Oh, I think this is wonderful.
It's very fun.
Well,
yeah.
I commend you on all the good work that you do, and
you.
you're lucky to have such great sponsors, and
We are.
it's always nice when you can help someone else help themselves.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to talk about it too. We want everyone to know if we can keep making this successful, we can open art centers all over the country.
Okay, I'll count on
You're
it.
coming
Thank
here
you.
next.
Jana, it's so nice to have you here today, and I know you're a longtime seamstress, and you've made, I guess, clothing, and you made window treatments and lots of things, but I have to say I was really glad you said we were going to do doll furniture. It's just, I like all the colors you use, and then when you said it's easy and economical, what more could you want?
It's fun.
And fun, okay. Well, and you use some interesting things in making this, and you are going to show us how to do it in a minute with PVC pipe and a type of insulation that people will recognize, probably not as doll furniture things. But go ahead and explain to us about the little couch, and we'll also look at the love seat in a minute.
I have 7 basic pieces in the PVC pipe that you can buy anywhere, and all these
That's
designs
all this.
are made. Well, you've got the 90-degree corners,
Uh-huh.
you've got a T, a spacer, and a cross, and a 45. But there are things that you can buy anywhere.
At a lumber company or
Yeah.
hardware store?
There are
or-
2 sizes, so we have made patterns for both sizes, so that you know, if you're in an area that only has one, you can pick.
You can use. Now, what about weight? Does PVC come in various weights?
The pipe does,
Oh, the
and we
pipe,
want the Schedule 40 because it's strong.
40.
Yes.
Okay, that'll be good to know to ask for. Okay, and since we can reach this one, this is made very similarly. We'll just show people how the cushion comes out. And what's this?
This is plumbing pipe insulation.
Oh, that's the insulation.
yes,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Okay.
And so you've got
Oh,
kind
it's
of
very sturdy. Uh-huh.
and it looks like it's upholstery. You can do upholstery now
Oh, okay.
with a glue gun.
On a limited level here. Okay. Cute little decorations. Great way to use up some scraps and a flower that you had left over from something else.
Always.
And the bed. That's really an amazing design with PVC pipe.
And look, 2 placemats
Oh, for the headboard. Uh-huh.
and covered foam. Now, is that easy?
It sure is.
Easy and inexpensive both.
Uh-huh. And the PVC has the joints that hold the different pieces together.
Yeah, and actually, I did a little sling bed to begin with, and the 4-year-old would sleep in it. I didn't know that. So it does shrink. So I did have to do some fine-tuning here
Well, that's
to make it strong.
Sort of live and learn, don't you?
Yes.
And that's neat about using just placemats to make the headboard.
You know-
Very inexpensive and easy to use. Okay, is this the number 40?
It is. And it comes
Oh, I see it's got the 40 on
in
there.
10-foot lengths. So you can, you can get the smaller one, but it's inexpensive. And the patterns will show you exactly the cuts that you need to make
Oh, uh-huh.
using the basic cutter.
Just,
And
uh-huh. And glue gun.
the glue gun I'm
So-
using with the foam.
Okay.
But the things we need for this, the little writing comes on most of your joints. And you just some lacquer thinner and it rubs off easily.
Oh, okay.
It's a
you
little
left it on so
harder
we could see it.
to get it off here, but you can get it faded. This is more porous, so it's a little harder. So sometimes the thing to do is just bend that writing out of the way so you don't see it. And in a lot of cases, you'll never see it
And
anyway.
well, it's going to be covered in most
Yes.
cases anyway. Okay, and fabric, do you recommend just 100% cotton mostly?
I love cottons because you can buy them with so many different cute prints and mix and match, and they're easy to work with. You can use some other stuff. If you use a heavier piece, you know, the corner's a little bit more difficult to
Like a
work in,
duck or something?
but it's all doable.
Okay, good. And go ahead and show us how we would start using that insulation. That's amazing.
Yeah. This one is cut to fit this piece, and we'll give you an exact size to cut. But the fabric, and you first, place it on there. And
So do we cut
and
this, or does it come like that?
You know what? It
It's a-
comes. You can have it with a tape so it can self-seal for plumbing, but it's not good enough for us.
It doesn't
So don't
hold
even
it.
buy the one that's that expensive.
Oh,
I mean, it's
okay.
like 50 cents more. This one has a little line that you just put your finger in and just tears
Oh,
down.
okay. That's
Easy to
enough.
do. And I like to use clothespins. I use a glue gun, and I put it, got to do the low setting. If you do a high setting, not only you burn your fingers,
Burn the insulation. I
it'll
bet.
melt.
It'll melt it. Yeah,
It'll
that's
melt.
right. Good point.
But put a dot on one side, dot on the other side. And I
then
like
you
to
just
put,
work it.
yeah, clothespins holding it, and then just work it on down. See the ends? I mean, it doesn't
Oh,
take
and you
much.
just fold in the ends.
Just fold in, put a little hot glue, both sides. That's all there is to it.
Voila.
We have a couple different sizes that we use, of which we'll explain that which one, but they're
It's
very
all
simple.
worked pretty much the same way. Now, notice the rubber gloves here. Is that just for safety?
No. You know, after about 75 pieces of these, pull them in and out, my hands are sore.
I
And
can imagine.
even though you should be able to just put them together, sometimes you want to take them back apart. Use the rubber gloves, needle nose plier, and pull it
And
out.
pull it apart.
You don't need to have strong hands.
You've learned from experience, haven't you?
I have.
Well, let's go ahead and show everyone. I think this is just one of the cutest things I've ever seen. A teeter-totter. It's PVC pipe as well.
And these go in and out to fit to your doll.
Oh, so any size doll could actually enjoy this.
Absolutely.
And these little things, is this that insulation?
It is. And a
Headrest.
cover button. That's all.
To fill up the end. I see that now. Okay, and this was inspired by somebody very special to you that we're going to meet now. Kylie, would you come on in, please? This is Kylie Davis and your granddaughter. And what did you have to determine on this as the official tester?
You have to see like if it works or not. See if you find different sizes of dolls, see if it has enough space.
Balance, I
yeah,
guess. But I understand you came up with this idea because the dolls were just flying out of the teeter-totter.
Flying out.
Oh, well, we don't want that any danger to come to them, do we?
No.
Okay, so you're going to show how easy it is to work with this PVC pipe.
So easy. Just
And this is going to
Snap it
be
together.
what?
a chair.
A chair, We haven't seen a chair, so that'll be good to see.
Yep. Here's the cover right here. It just slips over
Let's turn it
so
around.
easy. It's supposed to, it sews right here and just like,
Does that matter?
and then you
Oh,
can,
there it is.
it's supposed to slide on down like this, but
If it was untied,
yeah,
sure.
but the big bow kind of.
Right.
And this part's supposed to go in the back, and this just is going in front, keeping it together
Wow.
just a little bit.
And it holds the cover in place
Yeah,
too, so that when your dolls sit
Because
on
if
it,
the
they don't.
sews come out too, it's really supposed to be sewed right
Oh.
here too.
Well, that's a good idea. And this is one that's made
Another
exactly the
one.
same.
Just-
It's got the band showing in the front.
And it has a little surprise on the back.
Surprise on the back. Which one is your favorite chair and
I
fabric?
like this one.
And why?
I like the bright colors, and it has more to it and all of that.
I see. I kind of agree with you. That's my favorite of the two chairs. Well, are there other things that you've had to help test through the years?
The beds, some of them were a little bit too low. The dolls couldn't sit up.
Oh, that would be awkward, wouldn't it? Anything else?
There's been I don't know really anything else.
So your grandmother's kind of learning some of those things, and then you test it, and it turns out good.
The chair sometimes needs the armrest, just kind of depends.
And this is for the comfort of the dolls, right?
Yes.
You like for
They
them
gotta
to be
be
comfortable. I like that. And what are some things maybe you see in the future that maybe you two could design?
Maybe like some kitchen stuff, maybe sinks.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
that would be really cool. I'm anxious to see how that'll turn.
Cabinets would like work for living room, bathroom, kitchen.
Those are great ideas. Well, when you design all of those and you all have built them, would you come back and show them to us?
Sure.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much for being on today. I've learned so much, and I love all this furniture.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I hope you enjoyed the show today. Next time on Creative Living, we'll learn how to avoid computer eye strain. We'll discuss the 5 components of fitness and demonstrate how to work with grapefruit sections. One of my next guests will talk about preventative measures that can be taken to help keep the problems of computer eye strain to a minimum. Another guest is an author and fitness guru, and she's going to talk about the 5 components of fitness. And finally, we'll learn all about the different ways you can use a grapefruit section. My guest will also show how to section a grapefruit quickly. All of these topics will be featured on the next Creative Living show. If you ever have comments or suggestions or ideas for shows, you can email me at cheryl.borden@enmu.edu. I'd also like to ask you to become a fan of Creative Living on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com and in the search window type in Creative Living with Sheryl Borden. Thanks so much. I hope you'll plan to join me next time for Creative Living.
We are very pleased to offer you a new booklet that accompanies this series of Creative Living. This booklet is titled the 6900 Series, and it features a wonderful collection of ideas and information, and it's available free of charge on our website. Posted as a PDF file, you can simply download the entire booklet, or just the segments you're most interested in. For your copy of this new booklet, go to our website at kenw.org and then click on Creative Living. Scroll down to the booklet section and you can click on this booklet or on any of the other booklets that we have available online. We also would like to invite you to sign up for our free e-newsletter. Just go to kenw.org and click on the Sign Up Now button. Thank you.